Okay, my friend, it's time for you to just get it together. All of it. All of your poop. It's time to get it in a group. We're talking physical, emotional, spiritual. And if this is starting to feel overwhelming for you, take a pause, take a breath, in, out, in, out, in, out. And I have someone that you need to talk to. Her name is DeDee Cai. She is a performance coach of Fit to Profit, a company that utilizes psychology, cognitive science, holistic wellness, and business to help entrepreneurs get mentally fit to obtain peak levels of performance in their businesses. And she is talking to us today about how to balance it all, how to take the baby steps into what we need and want in order to live our best lives. So if you've been trying to get it all together and it's just not getting together and you feel like getting yourself together is a little bit like herding cats, well, my friend, this episode is for you. All right, let's go.
Welcome to the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Alea Harris. If you're looking for actionable ways to overcome communication and differentiation challenges by sharing radically authentic stories, you are in the right place. Listen in and learn how to stand in the power of your unique narrative to transform your personal life, business, and workplace culture. And now, your host, award-winning international speaker, strategic storytelling consultant, and Japanese whiskey lover, Ruby Coral's mom, Alea Harris.
Hi, DeDee. Thank you so much for being here on the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast. How are you doing today?
Oh my goodness, I am excited to be here. I am doing really well. Thank you so much for having me.
You are very welcome. So before we get into the rest of our interview, why don't you take 2 to 3 sentences to tell the people who you are and what you do?
Yes. So I am a proud mama of 2 and a performance coach for a company which I founded called Fit to Profit. And here we teach women how to build self-worth so she can increase her net worth. And everything we do here is holistic. Fit to Profit, we take care of you physically, mentally, emotionally, and also spiritually. And we believe that wealth is built from the inside out. And I am the performance coach for our business here and our clients.
I love it. I love it. So talk to me. Let's talk about the physical part. Because recently I used Ozempic, which for me is like a miracle, wonderful drug, to lose 25 pounds. It was my most favorite thing in the whole wide world, I'm telling you, because until my baby is 2. And before I had her, I could still wear clothes from high school. And even while I was pregnant, I only gained 16 pounds, right? It was after like a year and a half or so after I had her that I like started gaining weight out of nowhere. There's a whole story behind it. And I was like, I had 2 options. I could either be like those beautiful people I see on Instagram that are like all shapes, all sizes. And they're like, oh, I love myself. I tried that and that didn't work. Or I could just lose the weight. And I decided on the second one because I was not able to just fully embrace the love myself. But talk to me then about how the physical aspects are related to the profit aspects and how you coach your clients through that experience.
Oh my goodness. I literally just got off another podcast and this was one of the questions too. Like, what do you mean? Like, why does it really matter? And it is everything. Here's what I mean by that. I'm just going to use a really simple example of what happens when you wake up all refreshed because you had your 8 hours of deep sleep versus a day where, let's say, I have a 4-year-old, you have a 2-year-old that woke up 3 times that night. How do you think you would feel one day without that sleep that you needed and then in the day with a great sleep? Well, you already know that your performance or your focus or your patience is very different, right? Therefore, you can only do so much when you're tired.
Or not,
Or you can only do so much.
Nothing at all, even.
Yeah, right? Or do nothing at all. And so that becomes the consequence of you not showing up for your work or your business or for your people. And then what that trickles down and compounds over time. So it's a non-negotiable. Like for you to be able to thrive, on a personal level, to in turn perform on professional level, you have to take care of yourself physically, period. Can you imagine not eating? That's the same thing. It's physical health, not drinking enough water, right? Like it's a non-negotiable, and everything that's a foundation. We're humans, we're not robots. So we need to be able to not only nourish ourselves with, the nutrients and the foods that are healthy for us, we also need to move our bodies, and it's everything. Health is wealth,
So
period.
I'm not gonna lie. When I think about all of the things that you just said, the physical, the mental, the spiritual, then I hear all these comments, and it feels overwhelming to me to try to operate and have to get all of those things together to
Mhm.
be at my top performance. That sounds daunting. How do you make it less
Where do you start?
daunting? Yeah.
Yeah, where do you start, right? So I just want to make it clear for everyone, I am not an overnight unicorn. I am a work in progress, and I learned it the hard way, so you guys don't have to. I completely got burnt out from all areas based on physical, mental, emotional, and you name it, mental, from running my brick and mortar businesses, and learned it the hard way. And guess what? When I first started, I just did the one thing I knew how was honestly, I was chronically dehydrated. And I meant it. Like now, this is my practice. I just started drinking just one more glass of water per day. Start with something that you know that is possible for you to do, that you can stick with. And perhaps for someone else, it's literally, okay, I know there's so much information out there, right? Like take the first step that you can possibly do. Like for example, for you can do all of the things and do it naturally, or you can get support and lose the 25 pounds. So if that's what it is, then you do that, right? Just take the first step, and then the rest is going to unfold and happen the way it's supposed to, because it's a journey, it's a process to it. You cannot become healthy overnight, because all the conditioning, all the things that we have done took years to happen. So it's not going to be overnight that I'm just going to be, this healthy and I'm going to go out and run a marathon. So I'm saying all that to say that also to encourage you to do the first thing and anything that you think could help you, because you know why? Everything is going to compound over time. So honestly, I have a coach, the best advice ever is just do 2%. Can you do just 2%? Right? That means a glass of water, right? That means, can you just even set an intention to even think, okay, if I need more sleep, what does that mean? What time do I have to go to sleep by? Just start there, right? And then one piece next to another, it's like a puzzle. You just find one more piece and then the next piece, one step at a time. And to really be on, I want to say, to really be onto yourself about that is to also be compassionate with yourself too. And I say this with a lot of love. Trust me, I did it all wrong. So that way you guys don't have to. Is that, and there's good news for you, is that you can't get it wrong. If you set an intention to get healthier, or if you want to do something to make yourself feel better, that's a great start. You can't get it wrong. You'll figure it out. And in fact, you have to get it wrong to get it right. Right? You just get there faster. And so just really start something small that you can take on today. And the key to it is, can you do it again tomorrow? What about the next day? Start with just committing to once a week, and then twice a week, and then 3 times a week. Baby steps, right? How did we learn how to drive? Or how did we learn how to walk? Did we just get up one day and start running? No, right? Like imagine everybody knows how to drive right now, but imagine when we first started learning how to drive. I thought I could never learn this thing, this skill, right? And now we can do so many things because it takes practice.
Absolutely. I mean, it sounds like you've gained so much wisdom over your time doing this work, and it's very empowering and inspirational the way you're talking about it. But talk to me about the pivotal moment in your life where you shifted, where you found that this was incredibly important, where you decided that you needed to do this work for yourself.
Oh my goodness. So We have to really backtrack, but I definitely can recall as if it still happened. It only happened yesterday. Was when I got the dreaded phone call on my wedding week that my best friend took her own life.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
Yes, and they found her literally 10 days before our wedding day, and she was supposed to be a part of the wedding party. She was suffering from depression and anxiety. And here's the kicker. I was too, but in silence. I didn't know what I was feeling was not I didn't know what I was feeling. I thought I was just supposed to feel like that because I just basically got out of running brick and mortar businesses for years. I thought it was like the burnt out and the physical thing and the mental and emotional thing was basically just the repercussion of just years of stress and overwhelm. But no, I was truly suffering from depression and anxiety. That moment, I promised myself and vowed to myself that no one should ever have to go through what I went through that week. And that was also the moment where everything came full circle for me, was when I went to school, I wanted to be a therapist. Life happened. It didn't happen for me to go, it didn't pan out for me to go to medical school. So, but that's how I knew first, if I want to help anyone, I have to help myself. So that's when the healing begins. Started what I knew how, physical. Okay, I knew that I always loved working out when I was a teenager. So I was like, what happened? So I just started walking, which led into running, and then long distance running, and then yoga, meditation, holistic health coaching, just healing myself and building myself back up. And honestly, all of those things I did, I was able to heal myself alternatively. There was no drug, no therapy. There's a place for therapy, don't get me wrong, and interventions. But I did all of that to heal myself and realize that I had to take care of myself physically, which how I started, and then emotionally, and then mentally, and then the spirituality was the last piece, which I have really embarked on the past 5 years. And so
What does that spiritual journey look like for you?
So that also encompasses other life tragedies, right? I truly believe that every obstacle is an opportunity. I had my first daughter, and we were trying for a second kid. I had 2 miscarriages, and I guess the Holy Spirit was working on me, sending someone who sent a message that if you need healing, I was desperate, and she just mentioned maybe you should start reading the Bible, and I did. I started about like 5 years, more than 5 years now. And that's how it started. But ultimately, I was spiritual before that, right? When I lost my best friend was when I realized that perhaps this is my calling, because I made that connection of I really am meant to help people. So maybe this is what I'm meant to do. And so everything comes together. That at that moment, and in retrospect, when I found the Bible, everything started connecting. Like everything started connecting for me.
And it sounds like you very intentionally rewrote your stories. There is an awareness that you had to know, oh, this is happening, and I'm going to go then change and do something differently about it. What was the story that you were telling yourself before, when you were still in some of these crises? And what is the story that you tell yourself now?
So the one limiting belief, or I want to say disbelief now, was that I'm not lovable. That
That is a very common one. Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
yeah, I'm not lovable, and I'm not good enough, right? And the new thought, or the new belief that I chose to, is the minute I start working on myself to adopt and live through now, or and live with now, is that I am enough. Literally, that's like my password every single day. I am enough. I am enough. Like that's
I
my
love
password.
I love that. I'm
And
sure from you weirdos out there, there's some numbers and some symbols. Don't get excited. You didn't just put your full password.
I know. And so, yeah, like I am enough. You are enough, right? In that place, then how you can really build yourself up, how you can really embrace what it really means to feel worthy.
hmm And how has embracing that changed the way that you go about living your life?
Oh my goodness, I'm so much more disciplined with my workout. Definitely I'm human. There are moments where I'm like, no, I don't feel like going out to do that day. I'm like, it's okay. You don't have to love it. Do it because you are worthy.
Talk to me. I don't quite understand the connection there between worth and discipline. Can you explore that a little bit
Yeah.
more? Like, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I love it. So even if here's what happened in the past. Every time when I self sabotage, I justify for why I'm not doing it. And the reason why I wasn't doing it is because I didn't feel worthy enough. And now the discipline happens because I love myself that much to give myself the exercise it needs to thrive. Just like when I look at something that I want to ingest or like eat, I choose very mindfully because I know that's going to serve me and that's not going to serve me, right? Because I take care of myself so much better now because I know better now. So I'm going to choose because I love myself so much. It's like if you're a parent, think about it, right? If you know that something's bad for your kid, you're not going to give it to them, right?
Right,
I hope not.
right. No, no, no.
You're going to give them something healthy. And it's the same thing. If you love yourself enough, it's the same thing. You will give yourself whatever it takes to be healthy and happy and thriving. If you love yourself enough, you are not going to stay in that relationship that's not serving you. If you love yourself enough, you're not going to get into the comparison game to make you feel so terrible at the end of it, right? Not going to even entertain that. Right. And same thing. If you love yourself enough where you have committed to, for example, the training plan or the exercise plan or whatever it is, you're not going to back out and lie to yourself and be okay with that because you're better than that. Right. And that's how. And because all of the things that was okay for me to do before is not okay now because I love myself that much more because I am worthy.
I love
I,
that.
yeah, I am worthy to be successful.
Yeah, I think that that's one of the things that keeps people in their own way as not a belief that they are worthy of being successful, even though they might not quite admit it. So when you're working with your clients, what are some of the things that you see are getting in their way from living this optimal lifestyle where they're thriving? And what are some of the techniques you use to help them move forward?
Yeah, I love the question. So we are all humans, right? We have all the same fears, the same mental barriers, most of us, right? Because it's just unresolved issues that we have experienced in the past. So very common for us women is I'm not good enough. I'm not lovable. You know what I mean? I don't deserve it. All of the things. So we have barriers, and definitely my strategies, we have the mindset side of things, but very practical strategies as well. For example, we have 3 methods that we work through when it comes to, limiting thoughts, for example. Right? Like the first step is, okay, let's think about that one thing that you always think about that, sends you into a spiral. Okay, great. Now you got that. What is it, first of all, is it real? Is it true? Like, usually we just keep thinking the thought and the things like that. And, it goes on and becomes our belief system. And chances are 90% of the time, it's not real. It's not true. Okay, great. Now what? Well, and a lot of times, like my mistake in the past was like, I'm going to replace with a brand new thought. Like, I'm a millionaire. you know, to go from I'm not good enough to a millionaire, that is a long stretch.
Yeah, you're gonna fall right in that gap.
Yeah,
You're not
exactly.
making it from one side to the other.
Yeah, like there's a big gap. No, that's not real. Like, right? But you have to find something. Okay, so then what's the next step? Well, okay, I know I feel bad when I think this thought and it's not true. So what's a thought that I can think about? Okay, can you neutralize it? Can it be neutral? Like, for example, I am so fat, I can't fit in my skinny jeans. Whoa, that's terrible. Like, right? Like, imagine that already. And then I was like, oh, is it really true? Were you ever fit before? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you of course have to ask yourself. I'm like, yeah, I could get fit. And okay, so what is a more neutral thought? Well, yeah, I may be a little bit overweight, but I'm healthy. That's believable,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, that's believable. Okay. That's then get yourself to stand behind that. Then from that place, you can say, okay, what's the next level to that? Do I want to change it or not? Right. And the piece that is the biggest thing that, to answer your question, that we work with our clients on is responsibility.
Ooh,
You are
yeah.
100% responsible for what you have in your life right now and what you don't have yet.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nobody else. You're the only variable. You are not your circumstances. You are exactly where you are because of what you have done. Cause, effect, action, consequence. Right? My 4-year-old even knows that, right? So we get to be responsible, in that. And so, of course, you can see that's like the step that we take our clients through. Same with procrastination. Like there's like a framework for how do you work through procrastination. But ultimately, as you can hear already from our sentiment, that you embrace it all, especially negative feelings. Because it's just like waves. It's going to come and go. But the reason why it's unresolved is because you didn't get to feel it in the past. You just didn't get to feel it in the past. So now it's a pent up energy, in your physical body. Well, here's the thing. Disease is dis-ease, period. So you get to get through that. And it's just really embracing all of it, and if you are from the mindset of you can't get it wrong, then do anything. Do one thing,
Yeah, that's
right?
very freeing. Yeah. If you can't get
If
it
you
wrong, then just go for it.
Yeah, because that is the truth, right? You can get on board with me on that, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
we can't get it wrong.
Yeah.
There's,
Well,
there's no getting it wrong when it comes to like, I think I want to take care of myself now. Like you can't get that
yeah.
wrong.
I love that. That's very freeing and reassuring. And I do have one final question for you. If you could sit and ask God, the universe, spirit for anything and be 100% sure that you would receive it right now, what would you ask for and why?
Oh, what's really interesting? What I ask for is not just for myself, but it's more like collective, right? And the thing is, like, we already all have it. And I unfortunately have to go through the work and things like that to feel it, is unconditional love.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Hmm.
We all have it, right? If we can come from like a realization that's how we were created, right? Like we were created out of love. Like our parents loved each other at one point, right? To conceive us. So we were created out of love. So we are love. So we need to come back to that basic, right? So that's like, honestly, that's in my prayers every day and for myself and for everyone collectively, for the rest of the humankind, especially with whatever is going on right now outside of you. We just got through what we just got through. And there's a lot of thoughts and fear and doubt and like feeling of separation right now. We cannot feel separated. Like this is when we need to stick together even more. And love is the only answer.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. I totally agree. Well, thank you so much. Please let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And I trust that with today's technology, if you really want to find me, you will find me. You can just put my name in Google and you can find different ways of reaching me. But truly, I am just a message away. And I really, truly believe that each and every one of us was created for a reason. And nothing is an accident. So if you want to reach out because you're working on something, I am there.
Wonderful. And we will put your links in the show notes as well. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, DeDee, to speak with us today. Thank you so much for being here on the Flourishing Entrepreneur podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having the platform. Thanks for having me. And this is how we can collectively make a difference in the world. So thank you.
I don't know about you, but I know that I am planning to drink at least one other glass of water today. And then I'm also probably going to at least, do some lunges in my living room, take those baby steps that DeDee recommended while reciting the mantra that I am worthy and valuable. I really love her holistic approach to living a more thriving, successful life. And it doesn't have to start just because you've gone through your next and latest and greatest crisis, the latest and greatest trauma that your life is presenting to you. You can start now. You can start right now to live a life that just feels good. You can feel good. It is your right to feel good. And I am sending you all of the love, light, and abundance to feel good. Until next time, my name is Alea Harris, and this is the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Alea Harris. Vibing with what you hear? Leave a 5-star review to spread the love, and be sure to click subscribe. We wish you love, light, and abundance. See you next time.